Hi everyone. In this video, we'll take a look at purchase requests in WorldShare Acquisitions. I'll first create a new purchase request in Acquisitions. Next, I'll show you how to search and filter purchase requests, and then how to view and edit a request. Next, we'll look at the actions you can take on purchase requests. You can approve and order a purchase request at the same time. You can also reject a purchase request. Finally, for items you have marked as approved or approved and ordered, you'll need to review, edit, and place the order in WorldShare Acquisitions. So first we'll create a new purchase request. So I received a purchase request for the title, Bach, Music in the Castle of Heaven. I also have the author and the ISBN and some publication information. After logging into WMS, I've selected Acquisitions. Then I'll click on Discover Items. And since I'll first need to search for a record in WorldCat for the purchase request title, I'm going to click on the drop-down box for the indexes, and then I'll select the ISBN index. And I'll enter the ISBN in the search box, and I can either click on search or just hit enter on my keyboard. I can refine my search with the facets on the left. I'll select English for the language of cataloging, and this narrows the results down to 8 records. To further narrow the results, I'll also select the format Print Book. And now I have just 6 records. I'll scroll to the bottom of the page to see the last 3 records. I can see that the first record is a DLC Library of Congress record. It's a full-level record, and it matches my title and the publication information I have. So if I hover over the blue eye, I can also see some of the fields in the bibliographic record. To create a purchase request, I'll click on Add to, the drop-down across from the record, and then I'll select Purchase Request. On the new Purchase Request screen, I'll click the ISBN drop-down, and in this case, there's just the ISBN for the hardback, the 10 and 13 digit, so you can select either one. The acquisitions type default is one time, and that's what I want. Also, the default processing type of monograph is correct for a single part monograph. So I'll click on the drop down for requester next. The name of the person requesting this item is Jennifer Robinson. So I'll start typing Robinson, and then I'll select Jennifer Robinson from the list that appears. The date needed, I'll click the calendar icon, and I'll go forward a month to December, and I'll select December 30th. I want to place a patron hold, so I'll click in the checkbox, Place Patron Hold. Next, I want to add a reviewer. This would be a staff person to review and approve or reject the request. So I'll start typing in the text box, and I'm just going to type my name. So I start typing Robinson, and I'll select Mary Alice Robinson when it appears. Finally, I'll add a note. I'm going to add the note that I got with the request, which says needed for class beginning January 2021. And then I'll click on Save. The next step in the workflow is to search or filter for purchase requests that will need actions. On the left navigation, if you click Purchase Request, you'll see the 4 options below. Request items will retrieve a list of all requests, including those that are pending and those that already have been approved. Pending requests will retrieve a list of items that have the status pending, and these are awaiting review and some action. These would be requests that have been created either through the staff interface in Acquisitions, as we have just seen, or through Tapasa. Approved requests will retrieve a list of items that have been approved. And finally, request searches will display a list of your custom searches for purchase requests that you've saved. So first, I'm going to click on Purchase Requests on the left navigation, and then I'll click Request Items to see all requests. Now, if I click Search, I'll get a list of all of the existing requests. From here, I have several options to search or filter the requests. I could click the Search drop-down also to do a search. I could select title, ISBN, or any of the several other options to search by. I could also use one or more of the available filters to filter the results by requester, date requested, date needed, items for which there is a patron hold, or the review status, which would filter all requests as to whether they are pending, approved, or rejected. If I wanted to find all requests for which I am assigned as a reviewer, I can click the filter drop down for reviewer and start typing my name. And then I can click my name, Mary Alice Robinson. When it appears, then I would click apply. And this is the title for which I just created a purchase request and assigned myself as a reviewer. To customize the available filters, click on the filters drop-down on the right, and you would click a filter to select it and make it available for use. If I wanted to save a search, I can click the Save Search button, and it will be available for me to run anytime under Request Searches on the left navigation. To customize the columns that display, click on the gear icon and check additional columns that you want to display or uncheck columns you don't need to see. To see just the pending requests, I could filter by review status and select pending, or I can just click pending requests on the left navigation to get a pre-filtered list. Again, if I now click on search, I'll retrieve a list of all pending requests. To review and edit a purchase request I just created, I can click on the title, Bach Music in the Castle of Heaven. And then I can see the item details screen for this title. Let's say I want to have this title display in WorldCat Discovery as an on-order title when I place the order. So I'll click in the checkbox, Show Item When Ordered. And then I'll click on Save. And I'm returned to the Pending Requests Results screen. The next step in the workflow is to take an action on pending requests. I can either approve a request or approve and order a request at the same time, or I can reject a request. So I have 6 pending requests. I could filter to find just the requests where I am the reviewer, as you saw on the request item screen, but let's say I want to approve all of these requests. So I'll click the checkbox at the top to select all. When I do this, a check mark appears next to each title on the page and the buttons on the top become active. I'll click on the Approve drop down at the top, and you can see I can either select Approve or Approve and Order at the same time. I could also select Reject for these requests. I can't order these titles yet because none of them have been approved yet. So I'm going to select Approve. On the Approve Request screen, I can see the titles I'm approving, and so I'll click Approve, and the system confirms Successfully Approved. When I'm ready to order, or perhaps another staff person would have the task of ordering the approved request, I would click on Approved Requests in the left navigation. On the Approved Request screen, I can search or filter, or I can click on the search button to retrieve all approved requests. I have 8 approved requests, the 6 I just approved and an additional 2 that were previously approved. I'll click on the top checkbox to select all, and then I'll click on Order. The system confirms I am ordering these requests. I can click on page 2 to see the additional 3 titles of the 8, and then I'll click on Order. I can add the request to an existing order or create a new order. I'll create a new order. On the Add New Order screen, I need to add an order name, so I'll call this Purchase Request November. Next, I'll open the Order Type drop-down, and I'll select Purchase Order. Next, I'll start to type the name of the vendor I'm using, Robinson's Books, and then I'll select it when it appears. And finally, I'll click Save. The system confirms the order PO 2020-11 has been created. I need to click Order now on the bottom right side of that dialog box to add the purchase request titles to the order. And the system responds, Successfully ordered. But I still need to place the order. The titles have been added to a new purchase order, but I haven't placed the order yet. So I'll click on Orders in the left navigation panel. Then I'll click Orders again, and I'll do a search by order name. So I'll type in the name of the order I just created, and I'll click on Search. Then I'll open the order by clicking on the order name, and then I would need to add funds, unit costs, any discounts, and so on. Finally, when I'm ready, I'll click on Place Order. If you have questions about purchase requests, please go to help.oclc.org and then click Contact OCLC Support.